Hey guys, my name is Hab, and this is the Type 62. I know it took a while, but hey, better than nothing. So, let's look at the type. Since I don't have any way to earn gold consistently to purchase tanks for the channel, this went almost out of my pocket. With some clan effort from some tournaments, I have managed to earn enough gold to see the Type 62 come out in the store a week later. I immediately started drooling and, well, the rest of my gold is history. With the advent of completely ridiculous tanks such as the Smasher and various armor buffs in the tier, the type has been almost left behind. But I really don't see that many people play it. Which is what I don't understand, since it's been sold numerous times and most importantly, it's an amazing light tank that still earns a lot of cash. And I think it wouldn't be really noticed weren't it for one stat on the gun. So let's have a look then, shall we? So, the gun. A typical 85mm gun, 200 alpha, nothing too special for a tier that hardly gets guns bigger than 100mm. 145 penetration is on the low side too, but it compensates well for that with a good reload, bringing its DPM to around 2500. The single stat that really distinguishes this tank is the 250mm penetration on heat. Yup, you heard me right, 250. Sure, it may have a pretty low alpha with that, but with that kind of pen, you'll be able to go right through anything, even in tier 8. And I didn't even talk about the HE rounds. If you somehow manage to use the relatively low HE penetration, you have 300 alpha on the rounds, making your DPM rise well beyond 3500. That must be terrifying if you can only fight Sperrpanzers. 7 degrees of gun depression are also solid, and you also have pretty good gun handling all around. And in my opinion, the gun really makes the tank shine aside its low armor profile. The armor profile itself isn't good, but it can get some trollish bounces. It's also a pretty small tank, meaning you also have pretty nice camo values, with 1150 HP too, which is the most on tier 7 lights. But that still doesn't mean you're a resilient tank, not by a long shot. This is a tank that needs a gentle hand, some finesse. Like, imagine if you were caressing your girlfriend's hair. Not exactly an ideal comparison, but I think you get the idea. The less you get hit or slapped by a howitzer, the more it benefits you. Play it like a pest. And when you can, swoop down on the enemy tank and kill it by 1,000 cuts. It's a really fun thing to do, and it helps you wind down after a long, hard day. The mobility is somewhat worse than some other lights, but it's still really fast, don't get me wrong. 60 km per hour just seems a bit lowish. But considering the other aspects of the tank, I think that's a sacrifice anyone can make. It's a good mobility package otherwise, with very nice traverse numbers as well. Okay, with that gone, my equipment is the gun rammer, since extra heat pen is really unnecessary, improved modules and optics, then the supercharge since the shell velocity isn't good, then the improved assembly and engine accelerator, and then the stabilizer for obvious reasons because you're always on the move. Then the toolbox and high-end consumables. The last slot really doesn't matter that much. You can use either the consumable delivery system or the high-end consumables, but I use the high-end consumables for the extra adrenaline duration on the type. And well, with that out of the way, some replays from yours truly, and hopefully they're kind of good. Okay, so let's talk mines. Now, this is a tier 8 battle, and as you have clearly noticed, there is an IS-3, and for a light tank at tier 7, that would usually be a problem, unfortunately. Or rather fortunately, we are in a Type 62, so armor doesn't really matter that much, although aim is still pretty important on a tank like the Type 62. I mean, here you can see me trying to be a best try as far, like, as long as you are hidden from most of the enemies, like this, and you keep moving back and forth, left and right, it's gonna end up being really, really difficult for most of them to actually be able to hit you. As you can see already, 1200 assist damage. That's like that's such a satisfying thing to see in the light tank. Tons of assistance damage rolling in, and also earning a ton of cash on the side. Now, with the IS-5, I wouldn't fire a heat on the sides at all, only at the front, mainly due to the spaced armor, so thankfully I'm spamming AP. And here you can see the heat kicking in. Or did you see all of that grey? Now, while I have about half of my ammo loadout made entirely out of heat, which is mainly due to me fighting tier 8 heavies basically all the time, I could advise some people to use less Pramo. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, as long as you can aim better than me. But would I recommend the Type 62 if it came out in an alpha? Because I bought it for 5500 gold. That isn't exactly cheap for a tier 7 premium. And I would say, yeah, it isn't an easy tank to play, definitely. It doesn't forgive mistakes really well, mainly due to the ridiculously low amount of armor and also relatively low amount of HP. What the fuck did I do in there? I don't know. But other than that, it's an incredibly fun tank. You'll always have a blast in it, no matter the situation. Hell, you could be probably fighting in tier 9 and you would be still having fun, for all I know. Once the ATGM disaster is out of the way, that is. But, hey, that's a pretty decent result, second class, and I guess I will see you in the next one, where I will hopefully continue my endless rambling. Alright, and for our final battle, Dead Rail. I was planning to put a Himmelsdorf replay in here, but my replay files that I recorded got corrupted, and unfortunately the Himmelsdorf video got that as well. So, but the Dead Rail video is perfectly fine, and despite me getting a surge of shit to the brain near the final part, I think it's a fine example of how the Type 62 can truly work. Early spots, of course, it just does that so well. And I am so happy that I've actually got it for, what, 5500 gold? That isn't cheap for a tank, mind you. I've bought tanks for cheaper, and they were tier 8s. But I think it's excusable seeing as this is an incredibly fun light tank. It's also really, really nice for just grinding those light tank skills if you don't have something like a M4190, which unfortunately I don't. Or if you don't like tanks such as the T-54 Lightweight. Crazy, I know. I also had the double espresso before this, so sorry about that. I'm quite ecstatic and I just can't stop talking gibberish. Now, it also has such a good camo value that I think I have already mentioned earlier. You can pretty much get unspotted from pretty significant distances as well. I'm pretty sure I got spotted here. Or not, actually, no. Sure, it might be a bit far, 200 meters, but hey. You can also see the 4-second reload on Adrenaline. That's almost nearing levels of Comet reloads. And I'm pretty sure the Comet is at 3.7. So, in order to summarize the ISU, oh, that's a car coming by, sorry. In order to summarize the Type 62, did I say the ISU? Fucking hell. The Type 62, it's an incredibly fun, fast light tank with a low silhouette, which means a pretty nice camo amount. And it's also really nicely armed with that 85mm that can still pen any tier 8 it even looks at. Now, as for disadvantages, I would definitely think that the lack of armor is a significant disadvantage, which means that you really have to be taking care when playing a tank such as this. As you can see there, the 1815 can just pen you absolutely no problem, even if you have just a sliver of that armor. popping up. But then again, the AT-15 is a tank destroyer which does have a lot of penetration. And I should have just ignored the AT-15, and I should have just went to fire the T-34. This is what I call shit to the brain. But is the tank fun? Oh yeah, it is. And if it'll ever pop up in the store, I'll definitely say get it. This is such a nice buy for tier 7. One of the best tanks that your money can get you. Anyways, that is gonna be it for me in this video. Sorry about the sudden speed and sudden rambling in this video, but hey, what can you do? My name is Hab. If you somehow like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all guys later. Next up is the Boomsig, if I recall correctly. See ya.